Hi, oh my God, and first of all, thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. Of course, I've got lots of friends and family here, but also for you guys who are running businesses and giving up part of your precious day. I know how precious that time is when you're running a business to come and join us for this masterclass, so I really, really appreciate it. So I have a belief that the future of branding is personal. And the reason I believe that is because people buy from people. 92% of people trust the opinion of a stranger over a company brand online. And today, for the next 30 minutes, and hopefully when you guys get your copy of the personal branding playbook later on today, you guys are going to get every single tip that you need to grow a personal brand, build an audience, but more importantly, monetize that audience for your business and for your career. So first and foremost, what is a personal brand? I think so many people think that personal branding is an ego-driven activity. Hands up who thinks it's all about me, me, me. Oh. Yeah, quite a few people don't start building their personal brand because they're so worried about other people judging them for it, right? They think that their friends are going to think that they're an egomaniac or that they're full of themselves or whatever. Particularly in the UK, we're all so scared of judgment of other people that we don't do it. The reality is a personal brand is not an ego-driven activity. It's a strategic marketing imperative. It's a way to connect with people on a human level in ways that you just can't on any other platform. Personal branding often, and I mean often, outperforms marketing channels in any other capacity. 7 times is how often more, in fact, personal branding converts leads than any other channel. So if you're running a business, if you're part of the accelerator, or your friends and family in the room who also have their own businesses, you need to build your personal brand if you want to compete in 2025, because having a personal brand is the only way to win attention. And attention, as we all know, is the number one currency at the moment. You also get 24 times more reshares with personal branding content that you do of any other content that you're going to share on your company page. You get 8 times more engagement when you share content from a company and from a personal brand than you do from a company brand, right? That's a crazy amount more. So if any of you are spending money on ads, or if you're spending money on traditional marketing and you're not posting content yourself, you are missing out on 8 times more engagement. And most importantly, for anyone that is interested in the attention currency, which you should be, because if you are not competing for attention, your business won't get any, and therefore you won't make any money. You have 561% more reach on your personal brand than on your company brand, period. That's why James Watt has invested so much money in building his personal brand. It's why Mark Zuckerberg spends upwards of $1 million a year on his personal brand. It's why Elon Musk can shift an entire stock market with a single tweet, right? People care about people. They don't care about company brands, right? So you need to be building your personal brand. And a few more stats in case you weren't convinced. 52% of decision makers use LinkedIn as a place to get their thought leadership. So today is, of course, about personal branding. My book, which hopefully you're all going to stick around and get drunk with me later and celebrate the launch of, which came out today, which, by the way, we're number 1 in public relations right now. We're also number 2 in sales. So we are officially a best-selling author. Thank you so much. But the reason I tell you that is that came off the back of my personal brand. So I'd been posting content for about 4 years by the point that I got approached by my publisher. And they sent me a message and said, Amelia, you've been building your personal brand for the last 4 or 5 years, and you've monetized it. You built this amazing business off the back of it. You should write a book to teach other people how to do it. And so I got paid by Wiley Capstone to write a book about personal branding. It's called the Personal Branding Playbook, and you're all going to get a copy today. I need a bigger book. Get it for free, guys. I had to pay for those. But the reason I got the book deal is because I started building my personal brand, right? And that book deal is going to add such a different layer of credibility than me posting on LinkedIn or anything, right? That is like the pinnacle of attention. And that is what just starting on a platform like LinkedIn or even TikTok or Instagram, I know there's loads of you in the room that are posting on other channels, that's what that can do for your career. 99% of people don't post on LinkedIn. That's a real stat, by the way. I didn't just pull that out. I thought when people go 90%, it's made up. That is an actual statistic, right? There are nearly 1 billion users on LinkedIn, and 99% of them don't post content. And the reason that is again, everyone's scared of being judged, right? You're scared of having people screenshot your content and share it in a group WhatsApp and judge you and make fun of you, etc. But those people aren't your audience. Those people aren't people who you are trying to sell to. Those are people who are trying to potentially, they're worried that you might fail, and so they're trying to talk you out of it. Or maybe they feel that you're trying to do something that they could never. Yeah? So don't think about your friends as your ideal audience. They're definitely not. And if you're worried about the fear of judgment, you will never get anywhere. And finally, 92% of people don't even engage with content, which means not only are you not posting, but you're not even adding to the ecosystem. And yet every single one of you would have at some point in your careers, especially if you're running a business, complained about the lack of sales. But yet you're not willing to do even the most basic of things that are going to get you attention. So that is why you should build a personal brand. I said this right at the beginning, so I'm not going to repeat it, but I do really like this meme of building your personal brand is not an ego-driven activity. And the reason that I say that over and over and over again is I have gone from 0 to 200,000 followers on LinkedIn, had nearly 350,000 across the board, and from 0 to $4 million in inbound revenue off the back of my LinkedIn in 4 years. And I started from 0. I started from 0, right? I was like every single person in this room. I wanted to have a career that I loved. I wanted to do something that paid me money to live my life that I enjoyed. I wanted to quit being a burnt out 9-to-5er and follow my own dreams. And posting on LinkedIn has allowed me to do that. I now have met some of my best friends in the room right now, people that I met on LinkedIn. I've met clients on LinkedIn. I've met friends on LinkedIn. I got my book deal on LinkedIn. And I built this incredible business off the back of LinkedIn. And if that is not enough reason for you guys to just post once, twice a week, a few times, engaging something, then you will not be able to build a business in 2025. So why does building a personal brand actually matter when it comes to building a business? So this is a pretty standard funnel graph, right? This is a kind of a display of where your customers are in the buying process at any given time. So at any given time, about 85% of your customers are not ready to buy. It's why, for anyone that used to work in sales like I do, I started my career in recruitment, boo. I used to get told to make 100 calls a day, right? Hands up anyone else who worked in recruitment. Yeah, 100 calls a day, right? Savage, yeah? Who the hell has time to make 100 calls a day? Anyway, that's what we were KPI'd on, right? But 85% of those calls would either go unanswered or would get hung up on because people don't want to hear from us, right? 12% are thinking about buying, and you can apply this to car sales, to social media services, to oil and gas, to any single business, and the same will apply. 12% are thinking about buying, right? They know they have a problem, they know they need to fix it, but they're not quite sure who the right person is yet, right? 3% are actually actively ready to buy. And the problem with traditional marketing is traditional marketing and traditional sales tactics pretty much only appeals to the top 15%. Which means it's incredibly noisy, it's incredibly saturated, and you're competing with your competitors who are saying, doing, and selling exactly the same thing as you. There's no difference. It's just whoever's cheapest, right? That's how that works. When you build your personal brand, sure, you're going to be competing in that space, but you've already built a relationship with those people who are in the 85% over a period of time. You've already built trust, you've already built likability, and so when they get to the 12% of thinking about buying whatever it is that you're selling, guess who the first person is that they come to? It's you. Why would they go to anyone else? You've already given them so much value that they believe that you are the best. You're not an option, you are the option. And in a market when everyone, your customers and us, are all looking for that edge, people want to go for the best in the market. So that's why it gives you an unfair advantage. Did you like that, John?
Loved it.
It's not about look at me, it's about look what I can do for you. But more importantly, look what I have done for others. And that is the power of personal branding. So, how does one use one's personal brand to win new business? So, first of all, if you've got your phones out, I would very much recommend you take notes. This is also in the personal branding playbook, so if you were so lucky to get a copy tonight, then you will find out a bit more depth of this. So the first step is, what is your goal? My goal with building my personal brand when I first started doing it was to generate leads for my business, right? I needed an influx of revenue because my fucking God, it's hard to win new business, whether it be now or whether it be 4 years ago. Winning new business is the number one thing that any business needs, but it's also the hardest thing for any business to do, right? Is how do you make people buy from you and not from you? That's what we're all trying to compete against, right? So start with your goal. Is it business? Is it you want brand awareness? Are we just trying to educate people in the market? Are you selling something that's so new that people don't even know they need it? What is your goal? Step number 2. Who do I need to attract to make that goal happen? Now, this step, people get wrong most of the time, right? It's why if anyone follows any recruiters, I'm sorry, Felicity, I love you very much. If anyone follows any recruiters on LinkedIn, they will see that they pretty much only post content that appeals to other recruiters because they fundamentally misunderstand who their audience is, right? Your audience are not other recruiters. Your audience is your customer. So stop creating content for your peers because unless you're selling to your peers, you're going to get in front of the wrong people. So who do I need to attract to make that goal happen? So my number one goal, right, at the minute is to generate interest, obviously, in the book and to generate interest in my community, Get Clouders, where we go and help people build, grow, and monetize their personal brands on all platforms, all right? So that's my primary objective right now. And the people that I need to attract to make that happen are you. You are founders, consultants, freelancers who just want to quit their job and go and do their side hustle full time, right? That's the reality, right? And I can have the biggest impact on you. And so I focus exclusively on speaking to you. I speak about my founder journey. I speak about the mess ups I've had. I speak about the fact that I once forgot to invoice someone for 3 months and it cost me 50 grand. Yeah, ouch. That did really hurt. But those are things I speak about because every single founder can relate to that on some level, maybe not on 50 grand level, but there will be something that you messed up on that you can relate to when I tell you those stories. Right? So who do you need to attract to make your goal happen? Now, before I go on to the next slide, I need to be very clear about who that person is. We talk about audience all the time, marketing gurus and, personal branding strategists, whatever. They go, think about your ideal audience. Talk about what they care about. Sound to them, right? But what does that even mean? Because your ideal customer typically won't engage with your content. They'll lurk. Like I said, 99% of people don't post on content on LinkedIn. 92% of people don't even post comments. So how do you know they're even liking your content? How do they know it's even reaching them, right? Those people will not engage with you. So what we do with our community is we split it into 2. And this is why I said, get your phones out because this is cool, right? You split your community into 2, your audience into 2. You have community. These are the people who will advocate for you, love your content, root for you, comment, like, engage, share, refer you work. Right? They're never going to buy from you because they probably can't afford you. They don't think that it's option for them. Especially if you're selling something high ticket, they're not ever going to be able to end up in your DMs as a customer, right? But then you have your customer and they will buy from you, but they'll never engage with your content. They will lurk in the shadows and they might shoot you a DM every now and again and go, I love that post. But they'll never, ever like your content. But the problem is, in order to attract your customer, you have to have social proof that you know what you're talking about. And without your community, you don't have that social proof. And so when we post content, we have to appeal to both, right? We have to create content for the people that are going to support us, who are going to like our content, who are going to advocate for us, who are going to share, comment, oh my God, we love this post, thank you so much. But we also need the people who are going to lurk in the background and never engage with it to see what we're doing and the proof that what we're doing is really good and want to buy from us. So you split your community, you split your audience into 2, community and customer, and you make content for them. And then you ask yourself, what do those 2 people care about? So if my community, generally speaking, is people who want to feel seen, that's who my community is. Hands up anyone who's felt like they weren't themselves. It's more than that, come on. School, remember primary school? We've all at some point felt like we couldn't be 100% ourselves because we were masking it. And all anyone wants in this world is to feel seen, to feel understood, and for other people to understand them. That's what we want at our core. That's my community. See how granular I went with that? I didn't just go founders. It's fundamentally something that people feel. So I make a lot of content to inspire that person. And that's why you all clapped when I said I've gone from 0 to 4 million in inbound revenue in 4 years. Because you think, damn, I wish I could have done that, right? You can do that. And that's the point. That's my community. My customer is self-employed people. It's people who have a business, have a consultancy, have a coaching kind of arm, maybe a side hustle that they want to make full time, but they don't know how to stand out. Because let's be honest, it's really hard out here to win business. Whether you're selling services or a consumer product, it's really hard. And if you want to gain a competitive edge, the easiest way to do that is in people's feeds as a person, right? So what do those people care about? So for me, it's founders, right? Self-employed people. So again, like I said earlier, we talk about failures. We talk about the trials and tribulations of running a business, hiring, firing, all of the above. Because on some level, you guys are going to relate to that and therefore like me. And therefore, if you are my ideal customer, buy from me at some point. So it's important that you define the two. What do they know? Or what do I know that they don't? So you guys probably know you want to build a faster brand because it's why you're here, right? You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to learn how to do it. But you don't know how to do it. So all the content that I post and all the content that you guys should be posting is the how. Like, how do you do what I sell? I give, for anyone that follows me on LinkedIn, I hope that you will agree, and any other platform, I give 100% of my knowledge away for free. I don't gatekeep anything. Everything I post is value, and it's designed that way. It's designed that way. Because remember I showed you that graph earlier where I said 85% of people weren't ready to buy? 85% of people that follow me probably won't implement the things that I'm telling them to do. But they'll see it and they'll be like, wow, that was really valuable. She really knows what she's talking about. So either if they are ready to buy from me, they will eventually because they like me more. But if they don't buy from me, aka my community, they're going to tell other people how amazing my content is and you should follow this woman. And that's why I've met a lot of the people in this room. They've been tagged in content that I posted, or someone's shot them a DM saying, do you follow this person? That level of credibility doesn't happen by accident. It's strategic. So what do you know that they don't? And the last step in the process, and the scariest one for you all, is create content about those things. Now, we have a sheet, a download, a freebie, if you like, called the Content Engine, and it gives you 100 content prompts for any industry that can help you with this. But fundamentally, you just need to understand who your community is and who your customer is and make content for them. But a little tip that a lot of people won't give you is it's not enough for you to go, right, I'm a personal branding strategist, right? So that's my level of expertise in this room. It'd be very easy for me to go, here's 5 ways you can grow your personal brand. But that is very generic. It's information. It's information that you could all get from Google, quite frankly. It doesn't necessarily have to come to me for that information. The way you take it from information into personal branding content is you add your story. Why do you have that credibility? You start your post with I, when I, me. It's me. I have that story. And this is advice I've given people in this room, right? Amelia, why is it, I've plateaued? It's because I don't know anything about you. I started this talk again by saying I've gone from 0 to 200,000 followers on LinkedIn. Me, I did that. That has set the groundwork with all of you to where like, oh no, she knows what she's talking about, so I'll listen to what she has to say. And that is what you have to do with your content. You have to bring the you into it. And it's not about being private. I don't expect any of you to share selfies with your kids on a beach on holiday or what car you drive or anything like that. That's not what this is about. Like I said at the beginning, this is not a look at me exercise. This is a look what I can do for you exercise. But the I bit is what's going to separate you from anyone else. It's why do you have that knowledge? Why do you have that expertise? And that's very, very important. And then you distribute that on your social media and any team members that you have. So if you have freelancers, if you have people who are working with you as interns, every single person needs to be posting content. I said right at the beginning of the session, 561% more reach is what you all have as individuals versus your company brand online. If you are not proactively posting content, no one will find your business. And this brings me back to what I was saying about the I. You need to say things that only you can say. And this is something I'm going to hammer home in the book, in my content, and on stage right now. I can stand up here and say these things to you because I have done it myself. I can say these things to you because I have a credible backstory. I went through trials and tribulations to get to this stage right now, and so all the content that I share has an element of that. And I could only say those things. You guys can't post the same content as me. You never could. Even if we sat in the same industry, doing the same job, we were running the same agencies, you could never post the same thing as me because my story is different. And that is what building your personal brand is all about. It's about leveraging your personality, to gain a competitive business advantage. So this is your weekly schedule, because we want value here, right? We want to drive leads into our DMs. So Monday, personal post, right? And you can apply this to any social media channel, by the way. This could be TikTok, it could be Instagram, it could be LinkedIn, which is obviously where my favorite channel is. But you can also do this on YouTube. You can also do this on your newsletters, if you're a newsletter girlies, or gal, or guy. I had a feather boa on earlier, maybe I should bring it out. Monday, personal story. So this is something that a lot of people can relate to. So I've spoken about my divorce before on LinkedIn. I've spoken about my first business failing. I had this lovely introduction from Emily earlier saying she started her first business at 21. What she didn't say is 18 months later it fails and I had to liquidate all the stock and move back with my parents, right? Been there. But I talk about that stuff because, again, remember, I'm trying to attract self-employed people and founders. So, of course, I share that because you guys will then do something similar. So Tuesday, how-to guide. This is where you add your value. So whether you're selling consumer products or you're selling a service, you tell people how to do the thing that you're selling. You give them the what, you give them the why, you give them a little bit of the how. Not all of the how, but enough for them to think, wow, this person really knows what they're talking about. On a Wednesday, comment on something that's happening, right? What's happening in the world that you can comment on with your level of expertise? Hands up anyone who saw the H.M. Wandsworth situation with the OnlyFans prison dart. Yeah, so that happened. And I commented on that. Right? Crazy for a PR strategist, a personal branding strategist to comment on that incident. And if you haven't seen it, don't Google it because your eyes will never recover. But I shared a post on TikTok about this and it went viral. From a personal branding perspective, I said, from a personal branding perspective, here is what I think is happening here. And that is a level of credibility that you can't get from posting evergreen content. I'm posting in real time with my expertise about a specific topic and informing people about that thing, right? You can't buy that through evergreen content. And then on Thursday, this is your hook. So anyone that knows who Gary Vee is, I know you do. I also know that you do. Last time I was actually in this room was with Gary Vee, so that was very exciting. Fun fact, I sent a message to him in 2020 saying, Gary, your content really inspires me. And then I met him this year. So thank you, James, for making that happen. And we did tell him that, and he didn't look very impressed. Anyway. Thursday, results post. So this is where you jab, 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 right hook, right? Jab, 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 right hook. This is where you hook people in to want to buy from you. And this, for anyone that's familiar with sales, is called a funnel. We have pushed as many people into the top of the funnel as humanly possible because we've shared a human story, right? We have resonated people on a human level. We have then shown them with our how-to guide and our expertise that we know what we're talking about. We are the best at this. And then we hit them with here's the results I get, buy from me now, right? And if you follow that, people don't adversely react to when you ask them to convert if you've given them so much value that they should have paid for it. And that's the problem that most marketing has, right? It sits in that 3%. Remember I talked the buying 3%? Most marketing sits in the 3%. Buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. And there's no awareness, there's no consideration, there's no education, there's no why should I buy from you, why should I trust you? It all just sits at the top. When you create a weekly funnel like this, you are constantly giving people value, you're constantly giving people reasons to like you, and constantly giving people a reason to buy from you when they're ready on a weekly churn. And then the reason I always share, or I try to share anyway, on a Friday, a more personal but what I call an inspiring post is oftentimes I'm trying to get people to join my community or buy my book, right? And so they need to see the transformation that I've had in order to believe that that is something that they want to buy, right? So I might say in 2019 I was this and today I'm here. Build your personal brand, right? That's very inspiring. You guys might have a similar story. Maybe you started a business because you saw a problem or you had a problem. That is your opportunity to share that story. And what this does then is it creates advocacy. And this is something that so many businesses can't create. They can't create that self-referral scheme of people who love your brand so much that they send your brand to other people to buy. They need to want to buy from you. And this advocacy piece at the end, remember we spoke about awareness, education, conversion, advocacy, is a really, really important part of the funnel. And feel free to take pictures of this. It's also in the book, so you can get at that. So a few fatal flaws before we wrap up, right? Overthinking it. So many of you will have hovered over the post-it button before and not to actually hit post. because you're worried. Is it too much? Did I say enough? Did I say too little? Just host it, right? It's going to be seen in the feed for 7 seconds if you're lucky. And you're going to spend 2 hours wondering whether you should have said fabulous or amazing. Get over it. No consistency. People start this, they do it for 4 weeks. Oh, wow, I got a bit of engagement. Life got in the way. I've been doing this for 6 years, guys. But I'm also a published author. So, if you want the results, you've got to put it in the yards. It's like starting in January going, I'm going to get the sexiest body of my life, going to the gym for 3 weeks and going didn't work. You've all been there. I've definitely been there. So no consistency. Consistency is so important. Being vanilla. I know there's some of you in this room that probably like vanilla, but I personally think it's boring. And most of social media does. Unless you are willing to say something interesting, which you all have interesting things to say, but you dull yourself down because you want to fit in. You're in a workshop about standing out. That's the whole point. Every single one of you is exactly the same as a person sitting next to you, except for the fact that you have a different personality. That's it. That's the only thing that separates us. There are people who are better at personal branding than me. There are people who are better strategists. There are people who are better marketers. But I have the balls to go live on LinkedIn and post every single day and do stage talks like this all the time. And that is why I have a decent following, I would think, and have generated millions of dollars in revenue. Because I'm not necessarily the number one best, but I'm the best known. And I am the best known because I'm not vanilla. Only sharing info and never being personal, right? If it was information that people wanted, they would go to Google. You're not Google, you are a human being, right? Share, like I said earlier, use the I, use the me. What information are you trying to give people that backs up what you're saying with a lived experience? That is what's interesting. And to be honest, that's how you bond with your customers. When you're in a meeting with someone and you don't go like, here's the 5 things that we can help you with. You go, oh, do you have kids? Oh, I've got kids too. Do you support a football team? Yeah, me too. Who do you support? That is the level of interaction that you have in a meeting. So why wouldn't you do that online, right? Only sharing, we've already done that. Corporate jargon. Don't do that. Don't need corporate jargon. Don't say things like, I'm really interested to hear what my network thinks about said topic. Yeah. Only asking, never giving. We've already spoken about the jab, right hook. This funnel, this give before you ask for anything in return. If you're only selling to people, no one will buy from you. No one wants to be sold to. No one. But we all want to spend our money. Yeah? So don't just sell. Don't use stock images. Don't use passive language. So if you're going to share a post, make it about you, me, I. Don't say we. No one can think about in context of we. We don't all feel like a we feel like a you or an I. So make sure you're using active language. Not following up. Hands up if anyone's tried to use social media to get sales for their business. How many of you have a system to follow up with every single person that is engaged in some way with your business? 4 of you. Good job. You need to follow up. And a really simple way to make this happen, if you don't know where to start, when I say system in your head, just going, oh my God, I need a system. I've just signed up for loads of systems. I don't need one system. A really simple way of doing this is when someone's liked or engaged with your content, this is how I got started, I would go back through the people who would like to engage with my content the following day, and I would go and shoot every single one of them a DM. And I just copied and pasted it. Hey, thank you so much for engaging with my content. I really appreciate it. Is there anything I can help you with in this 2024, 2025? Or is there anything I can introduce you to? That won me, by the way, when I was a recruiter. We've already understood that everyone hates recruiters, right? When I was a recruiter, that won me 2 retained accounts at 30% terms with 2 of the biggest data companies in the world. And I was like a 25-year-old, no idea what they're doing. So if I could have done that at 25, I'm pretty sure you're capable of sending a follow-up message. Outsourcing your personality to AI. Now, this is a bit of a tricky one. I told you I'm not vanilla. I love ChatGPT. I don't love ChatGPT posts on LinkedIn. Who knew that a robot had a tone of voice? So don't use AI to be you. Use AI to help support the world know who you are. Yeah? Not speaking to your community. I already spoke to you. It's not about look at me. It's about look what I can do for you. I need you to all feel seen in what I'm saying. And that's what you should be striving for with your content. It's about service. It's not about how many likes you get or how many views you get. Not replying to your comments. That is an absolute crime. I see so many people do that. They post this amazing stuff and then they just leave their comment section with all these people who've actually given them loads of really amazing comments and engagement. It takes time, yeah, but so does trying to win new business. This is now your new business tool. Refusing to engage with others' content. It's an ecosystem, guys, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. If you want to get engagement, you have to give it. We have an entire person in our business, Hannah, shout out Hannah, smashing it. She's like dying inside there, I just said that. Who is the most incredible human, but she spends hours and hours and hours engaging with other people's content on behalf of our clients because we know how important it is to give engagement if you meant to get it. And finally, the last 2 points, changing your strategy too often. Like we said about the gym, right? You start your gym routine, you get a little bit of progress, but then nothing for 2 weeks, and you're like, oh, I have to change my routine. You've only been doing it for 3 weeks. Of course, that hasn't worked yet. You can't constantly change your touch, change your personality, change your medium, depending on what the algorithm says works or what people online tell you is the best way to build your personal brand. The best way to build your personal brand is to be you and give value and show up often. It's really that simple. It really is that simple. The biggest step that you're going to take is actually doing it, right? And that leads me really nicely onto thinking this happens overnight. It's very easy for me to stand here with the 200,000 followers and I've done this and I've done that. And you think, oh, I really want that. And you do it for 6 weeks and go, wait, why haven't I got 100,000 followers yet? Because you do it for 6 weeks, guys. It's like a baby. If you were born 6 weeks ago, you're really expecting them to run? No. So it doesn't happen overnight. But what you'll find is it compounds. In the first 3 weeks, my first post, by the way, got 1 like. I'll show you a picture of it in a minute. The first couple of posts that you post will get 1 like, 2 likes, and then you get 10, and then you get 15, and then they get 50, and then you get 100. And that compounds, right? Building a personal brand is like paying into a high-interest business account, ideally with Natwest. Tricks in the margin. Ideally with Natwest. But it's like paying into a high-interest business account. The more you pay in, the more that compounds over time and the more brand equity you build. Nothing happens overnight. And even if you think someone is an overnight success, they have been working behind the scenes for years to get to that point. It's very easy as human beings to get blinded by the lights of success and think, God, I wish I could do that and I could never, or try and do that for 2 weeks and then get bored because you didn't hit any success yet. The reality is the sexy wins are in the unseen, unannounceable work that you put in over and over and over and over again. And if you'd like to know how to do that, you can join my community. Yeah. We've got a few of our members here tonight. Hands up if you're in our Get Cloud community. We help people build, grow, and monetize their personal brands on LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. So if you want to know where to start, come and join us. We're very, very friendly, as we just got the whoop, and hopefully that gives you an idea of how nice these people are. So, I want to show you, lastly, before I let you go and get pink cocktails, because it is the book launch, and I am a pink girl, although I'm not wearing pink today, which is very out of brand. This was my first post. It got 1 like and 1 comment, and they were both from someone I worked with. And this was something I posted more recently, which was about my 2000th post, and it got 1.3 million views. Guess the difference in years between those two. I mean, other than the hair, is quite different. But the difference in years between those 2 pictures is about 6. It doesn't happen overnight, but it definitely won't happen if you don't just post it.